Yeah. Yeah. I was finna write a song about how I've been hella stressed, but I looked in your eyes and noticed I'm hella blessed. Staring at you on this airplane.
Welcome back to our channel. So this was pre-pandemic. Just wanted to show you our baby boy's first haircut. He got his hair cut when he was 10 months old back in Barbados. And I know a lot of you probably would be asking, but aren't you guys in the UK? Why would you get his hair cut in Barbados? I will explain that in a bit. And we recently started a new account on Instagram called Bajan Family Abroad. Check us out on there if you are on Instagram. It would be good if you can follow us. And on our YouTube channel, click the like button, hit subscribe, and click on that notification bell so you can get more videos like this from us. Let's jump into it. So back in December, we visited our family for Christmas. That was the first time we went back home for about 5 years, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It was a good trip, but the funny thing is we got ill at the beginning of the trip, so we didn't get to see a lot of our friends, and we didn't go as much like we wanted to. One of the key things we wanted to do when we went home was to get our baby boy's haircut. He was 10 months at the time. I always wanted to wait until he was at least a year, but given the timing, we thought it would have been best anyway to get it cut when he was 10 months, and I would have preferred to have done that at home. The funny thing is here about barbers, for me personally, and this is just my personal opinion, for barbers and hairdressers here, I tend to be a bit more skeptical. From what I've seen and experienced, I think the barbers at home are a lot cleaner. Big up to my guy Bernard who did my son's hair. He's extremely good, and he has kids of his own as well, so he could handle my son quite well, as you can see from the video how he sat down to get his hair cut so nicely. And that was a shock to me because I actually thought it would have been a bit harder than that, but Bernard was really good, very gentle, and I trusted him. For me, taking my kid to someone for the first time over here that I really don't know or trust, or don't know if they would be the cleanest, that was a big thing for me, and I didn't know if I would like the haircut after. I knew Bernard for quite some time because he was our barber for my brother for years, from the time my brother was like very young. So I trusted him and knew what the hair would look like once he was done, and hubby was okay with us going to him as well on that basis. The other thing was we didn't want any razors or anything used on Eli's head, and we wanted it to be as gentle as possible. So for that reason, we decided to get his hair cut in Barbados. And I mean, we're Bajans after all. I mean, for me it was symbolic. We tried to make sure that we get the kids to be very into our Bajan heritage. Try not to make sure that we don't forget where we come from. Tell them a lot about Barbados and stuff. So anything that can be a first experience or new experience, we try to save certain things for when we go home, and this is one of them. Yeah, let's talk about hairdressers now. And I know this is slightly different from what I'm showing you in this video, but personal view again, I find that the hairdressers at home are really, really good in comparison to here. A lot of the hairdressers at home have done some schooling, or try to perfect their craft, or know what they're actually doing when it comes to putting chemicals in hair, and even doing natural hair. They tend to be very good at what they do. They hone their craft and they try to perfect their craft. Hair, I think, is an easy avenue, even for barbers as well, is an easy avenue to make money, especially when you're a new immigrant. So a lot of the people here are just okay. And honestly, if they can do it, I can probably do it too. Not to make it sound bad, there are some people here that are good. Don't knock me. I can only talk about my experience and people that I've come across. They're okay in comparison, and some are below average in my opinion in comparison to what you find at home in Barbados. And I know, for example, Jamaica, I've come across some really talented people who can do hair really well, and barbers who are top notch at hair in Barbados, Jamaica, even St. Lucia, where my family is originally from, are really good in the Caribbean. But here it's like a stretch to, it's like searching for a needle in a haystack to make sure you can find someone who is really good. And even if they style good or they cut the hair good, you may find after a while that you start getting thinning hair and hair that's not as healthy. And the thinning hair, yes, I know that could be due to the weather as well, but could be also that they just don't know what they're doing. Are using the incorrect products for your hair type and stuff. And I think that was one of the reasons that helped me to go natural. Don't mind, I have my extensions on in this video, but I do have natural hair, and I've been natural now for the past 2 years, and that was one of the main reasons I've gone that route, because it's really difficult to find people here who are good, who can take care of your hair. And the real funny thing is, a lot of the people here in the UK cannot maintain natural hair, and if you do find them, they're very far away from where I live, which is more East London side. Maybe you can find them like Southeast and that type of area where you have more of a black community, but where I am, I would have to travel really far and spend a lot of money in travel, which I'm really not about, or spend a lot of time trying to get there. So yeah, that was the real reason one of the real reasons that we got baby boy's hair cut in Barbados. I think for me, I think Bernard did a really good job with it. Elijah, being the first time that he was getting his hair cut, I was just surprised at how comfortable and quiet he sat down. And I felt so proud to see my little baby boy who I felt came into the world just the other day, growing up already into a big boy, and his big sister just there watching on. One of the things that also come to mind in terms of differences between Barbados and the UK is the vibe in the barbershop, or the vibe in the salon is so very different. So for some of a couple of the hairdressers that I've been to before, they also have a barbershop attached, or a barbershop very close by, and the general vibe in those places here is very cold. Yes, they would have music playing in the background, or a show on television, on a screen somewhere, but the general vibe is very different, and it's just something that's very hard to explain, because not every barbershop or every hairdresser within at home in Barbados, and yes, I still say at home, because to me Barbados will always be home, although UK is now my home as well. So the vibe here in the UK is very different from how it would be in Barbados, because it's almost like you form a relationship, a very close relationship with the person who's doing your hair, and you just have it's not necessarily a best friend type of feeling, but you feel comfortable enough to have a conversation and chat with your barber or your hairdresser, just joke around or laugh or talk about certain things. It may not necessarily go to too personal in detail, or it may, depending on how long that person was your hairdresser or barber. Here in the UK, is not quite like that. People tend to be very, even if they're black like you, sorry to bring race into it, but even if they're black like you, it's still very reserved, very closed off and guarded. And I find that's one of the differences. The other thing is a lot of the hairdressers here that I've encountered were basically either African or Jamaican. The Jamaican ladies that did my hair, they were very easy to relate to, but again, I think they probably would relate even better to someone who's Jamaican. So you still have that barrier in terms of where the person was originally from. Yes, they may connect based on race, but they may not necessarily connect as closely depending on exactly where they're from. Like, I connected better with the Jamaican girls who did my hair versus the African ladies who did my hair. And yes, I got on well with all of them, but it was still a difference in how they related in comparison to the treatment or the close connection that you would form at home in Barbados. So, and not only that, obviously the music is different. You would have like background music that you can really vibe to, like reggae or R&B or something like that. I still am adjusting, believe it or not, after how many years, 6, almost 7 years now, trying to adjust to music here, which I really haven't. Sometimes they play the exact same thing over and over and over on the radio, which is very different from home. People would cuss me out at home for saying that. They say, well, just play the same thing over and over here too, but it's quite different. It's not exactly the same. But yeah, just want to touch on the vibe. What other differences are there? So getting back to one of the main reasons why we got baby boy's haircut is because we had a significant milestone where we were getting him dedicated at church, where we also did that in Barbados, similar to what we did when we had Jasmine as well. People call, well, depending on which not necessarily religion, but depending on if you're Catholic, Pentecostal, Apostolic, they all call it different things. I think Catholic call it christening, can't remember, whereas what we call it is baby dedication, dedicating the baby back to God, basically saying a prayer for them and the family and everyone who is going to be over them. So that was one of the other reasons we got his hair cut, so he could look all nice and handsome for that. And let me just say to our friends who would possibly be offended for not being invited to the dedication, yes, I have to put in this caveat because of the timing and because because we were ill prior. It was just for very immediate family. It was nothing large, nothing big or fancy. It's just something that we decided to do while we were at home. So please don't get offended. We still love you. But yeah, just wanted to put that in just in case, because I know how our friends and some family members can be. Because I know we would probably get an earful at the end. Just want to share a snippet with you of Elijah getting his first haircut. Remember to like our video, subscribe, share it with your friends, and hit the notification bell, of course, so you can get more videos from us. I will be putting out another video quite soon, next week. I'll try to keep consistent with our videos over the next couple weeks. Fingers crossed that I can do it. I will really try. And I'll get Kev involved as well, because it can't just be me. Yeah, so look out for more from us, and remember to subscribe. Until we speak again, take care and remain healthy and safe. Bye guys.